What is up, you guys? This is All Danny Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you a build breakdown video for Wolverine. So let's go ahead and look at his skills. Traits. His two main attributes are durability and fighting. He automatically gains a 5% brutal strike chance. His primary resource is called Fury. Fury does not regenerate naturally. 25 Fury is gained when you take damage or hit with the basic power. Adamantium Skeleton. You are able to see enemies on the minimap. You automatically gain health gain, 210 health per second. This effect is tripled for 4 seconds when you fall below 35% of your max health once every 10 seconds. Your two main defensive stats are defense and dodge. Both get 20% multiplier and 600 of the base. Melee combatant gives you 8% damage reduction. Now for my abilities, I'm using Bloody Claws on X. I use Furious Lunge on L2 Circle. I use Crimson Leap on Square. Impale on Triangle. Furious Assault, which is your signature, on Circle. And then Rampage, I put that on L2 Square. And then Wet Work, I put that on L2X, and then Feral Roar, I put that on L2 Triangle. So for my talents, I went with Hardened Outlook, Punishing Strike, Inexorable, Rampage, Deep Cuts, and Feral Surge. So Hardened Outlook, it says Swift Claws transform into Bloody Claws. Passive effect, it automatically gives you bleeding power damage increased by 20% for all your bleed powers abilities, and you also generate your fury generated restores 10 fury. Punishing Strike, you gain, it says Impale gains the following effects: brutal strike damage is increased to 50% and fury cost is reduced to 50%. Inexorable Rampage gains the effect of gains the following effect: you are invulnerable for the duration of this power. Total damage is increased by 100%, which is doubled. Fury restored is increased by 100% of max fury, so that's a full fury. Channel time is 4 seconds. You don't have to hold it, it just goes for 4 seconds by itself. Cooldown is 12 seconds. And then technically 8 seconds if you want to count it, after it finishes, the channel finishes. So for Deep Cuts, Bloody Claws increase the total damage of your bleed effects by 5% up to 50% for 6 seconds, maximum stacks of 10. Feral Surge, Feral Roar gains the following effects: Fury generation from all sources is increased by 20%. Damage resistance is increased by 20%. You take 20% less damage, and when you fall below 30% health, trigger Unstoppable Beast for its full duration, 30-second cooldown. So Unstoppable Beast is going to heal you. That's your self-heal ability, which is this one, this green one. So you would no longer need it in your slots, and it doesn't cost any fury. You just have to have 30% or less health for it to proc, and it's a 30-second cooldown. For my synergies, I went with Black Panther, Blade, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Luke Cage, Psylocke, Scarlet Witch, Squirrel Girl, War Machine, and Wolverine. So yeah, my infinity points, I put 1 point into fighting, and then I put the rest into durability, just because I wanted to have more defense. So also, when you look at the right side, when you put 50 points in, you get Medkit causes you to take 10% less damage for 5 seconds, and then 100 points increased damage reduction by 1%. I mean, it may not seem like a lot, but it definitely would help. But if you don't have 25 points, or even if you do have 25 points, but you have some infinity points left over, the infinity stats that you can go for would be mental focus, strike through, potency, because you're always hitting your signatures has a really quick cooldown on it. It's like a 12-second cooldown for each charge. I want to say restoration or inner resilience, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Micro warps or gravity well, and then the last one, temporal loophole, movement speed and attack speed. So for my gear, I actually didn't have this gear on. Some of them I didn't have on. I think it was actually just this. I had a purple weapon. It was pretty much the similar stats, except it, instead of the bleed damage, I think it was crit hit, brutal damage, and crit damage or something. I don't remember. But yeah, my stats are not too bad. I could always get a better utility. That's why I haven't gotten this one modded. I could always get a better lower body. But my helmet, my mask cover, my accessory, it's actually really nice. Crit hit and crit damage. And also what's really nice is when you drop below 30% health, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. I mean, 3 seconds doesn't seem like a long time, but you'll notice the invulnerability if you do drop your health down that low by accident, or you just weren't quick enough or whatever. Then that 3 seconds will save your life. It is a 25-second cooldown though, so you got to keep that in mind. So yeah, so my legendary item that I went with was Red Muramasa Blade. The reason why is because with this build you are focused all around bleed. Bleed is your #1 damage, or not #1. Your brutal strike ability is your #1 ability attack, but other than that, your bleed is going to be doing a ton of damage. So, and not just that, but you have to look at rank 5. Harness the very soul of your harness the very soul of your enemy, stealing 300 health from your target when you critically hit with a bleed power. So you can stack your bleeds as much as you want with Wolverine. So, and they can crit, they can brute, and that makes it so nice, that rank 5 talent. So that makes it worth it getting for him. It'll increase his survivability a lot more. So the medallion I went with Saber-Tooth medallion. I feel like this is the best one. There was the two options. Well, technically, I was gonna go with Dr. Doom's medallion, because that way I would get an increase in all my attributes by 1. And I don't think there's a cooldown on the. Maybe it's like a 15-second cooldown, or whatever. I don't know what the duration is either, but it would have been a nice medallion to use as well, or if you could use that one. But I think the Saber-Tooth medallion is just better. When you hit with the claw power, cause your target to bleed for 44/16 physical damage over 5 seconds, stacks up to 10 times. When you reach 10 stacks, gain plus 51 health on hit for 5 seconds. And then the 1100 damage rating to the bosses. And I got lucky with the 744 crit hit. I was farming for Saber-Tooth actually, so I ended up getting this. Catalyst. The other catalyst I was using is actually this one on the left. 72 Fury, 76 health regenerate. They're both pretty similar. Regenerate 25% of your health up to 3,000, and 100 Fury when you use your med kit. Plus 2 fighting, gain a damage shield equal to 50% of your maximum health when you use your med kit. And then mutation bonus, after being crowd controlled, gain 2,000 maximum health for 5 seconds. So that's really nice. On the right one, the reason why I went with this one is because you have 2 bonuses that are based off of your signature, and your signature is really, it comes back really fast. And you also get that regenerate 25% of your max health up to 3,000, and 100 Fury when you use your med kit. But the only thing I didn't like is the plus 3 intelligence, but you know, I could live without the 8% max damage, base damage. But yeah, the next thing would be your relic, I went with Relic of Asgard. You can either go with Relic of Asgard, you can go with Relic of Subterranean for more defense, or Relic of Gibberim to have more fury. The reason why I went with Relic of Asgard is because that way I can put out more melee damage in general. So the next one for your artifacts, I went with Sabretooth's Fury Mane. You can get this from farming Sabretooth at his Villain Showdown, or you can get it from the Castle Doom. Yeah, Castle Doom, if he pops up as one of the 3 random bosses. And I think he spawns in I'm pretty sure he spawns in as a Danger Room boss. So you can get it from there as well. And you can also get this from a shield supply box. Next thing is the Nuts of the Squirrel. Nuts of the Squirrel it procs from or drops from anyone and anywhere. It just depends on who you kill. The only thing that really makes a difference with Nuts of the Squirrel is if you have a +1 fighting or to a +3 fighting. But other than that, Wolverine gains crit hit and claw damage powers. You don't need the summon, but the crit hit, claw damage, and +3 fighting helps. And the last one, I went with Ziggurat of Cargill. 426 crit damage rating, 358 crit hit rating. When you use a movement power, increase your movement speed by 20% for 5 seconds, 5-second cooldown, 365 brutal strike rating. So I don't care about the movement one, but all 3 of the other ones are really nice until I can get like a Gem of Curse or something and to replace it with, then I'll do that. But until now, I'm just going to be using Ziggurat of Cargill. Now for my stats, I'm at 36,113 average effective health, 45% damage reduction, 3% attack speed, 2656 crit hit, 3991 crit damage, 1125 brutal strike, 4230 brutal damage, and 120% base damage. So let's go ahead and look at each ability and what they do. So this is for X. So all of your claw abilities will apply bleed as well. So the damage over time on this is pretty nice. And then here's square. This one also does damage over time, and as you can see, the damage over time numbers got a little quicker because the numbers from both of the damage over time abilities have procced. The next one is this your signature, which is on circle. I'm just gonna use it once, and that's what it does. And then you have triangle, which does auto brutes. So, and then the next one is L2 triangle. You fear your enemies, they get terrified and they stay in one spot. But not just that, you also gain that 30% damage reduction and a couple other buffs. And then you have L2X, which gives you a huge buff. So here's the buff that buff effect it gives. You gain 20% movement and attack speed, 20% crit chance, and 20% damage resistance, 10-second duration, 30-second cooldown. So it's really, really useful. And then for L2 square, it's the channel ability, so it lasts for 4 seconds. And yeah. So with the rotations I normally do is I would try to if are you go ahead and fear your enemies and then lunge all 3 times with signature and then pop your triangle and then try to keep you want to always try to keep your enemies bleeding, and then just proc whatever you can, your buffs and all your cooldowns and whatnot. And yeah, that's basically it for Wolverine. If this build helped you out at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any other artifacts that you would like to share that would help Wolverine's build out, or you think would help Wolverine's build out, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section as well. If you can it would be nice if you could also post the stats and where you can get it from. But if not, then that's completely fine. And what else is there? I think that's really about it. So yeah, like I said, if this video helped you out at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys again next time. So, and this is all day any day one on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.